I'm so excited because I recently found all of my sketchbooks that I've ever made, starting with ones that I did in 6th grade. You're going to notice a lot of anime for sure, but I think it's going to be really fun to look at where I was and how honestly the kind of strange kooky ideas have always been there ever since 6th grade. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh god, I'm kind of nervous to know what we're gonna find. But thanks to the old me, we can see that I made the sketchbook when I was 12 years old. I think this one lasts like 2 or 3 years. Something you'll notice about me is that I am not much of a sketcher. I prefer to go straight into final projects and don't really use a sketchbook practice as much as I should. Oh my god, jump scare. This is a sleep paralysis demon for sure. Except I think it was supposed to be Mickey Mouse. Oh, this is cool. So this is one of my first original characters. I wanted to create this whole thing called the Painted Circus. Maybe I'll come back to this someday. But like I was saying earlier, I do not work very fast and I don't sketch very often. So I don't have a sketchbook for every month of my life. Each sketchbook takes around 2 to 3 years. Here's the start of my hand craze. I actually hate drawing hands with a passion, but I started young so I could learn them and master them. Okay, we have to pause here. This is a momentous occasion, my first anime fan art. I believe that this is Full Metal Alchemist, but it is almost unrecognizable. So that's the end of the first sketchbook, and now we're gonna see some of the loose pieces of artwork that I made when I was 12. Some fairy baby children hiding in flowers, inspired actually by my grandma who came over and was visiting. This one's a little bit, I don't even know what I'm thinking. And, enough of that. Let's move on to the next sketchbook. Oh, you thought it was going to be a sketchbook? Just kidding. This is actually my scrapbook of my pet chickens. They're so cute. I thought we should take a little bit of break before we go into the next middle school sketchbook to show off my cute babies. As you can see, they were born March 11th, and that was in 2023. Since then, some have died. If you see a feather on the page, that is their feather to memorialize their death, unfortunately. So Sleepy died, Pom Pom died, but Daisy and Buttercup are still... Oh, wait. Oh, Buttercup's dead. Oof, that was an oopsie. Red is also dead. As you can see, foxes have killed 4 of them, sadly. Blossom's a goner. But since then, we have actually gotten 10 more baby chickens, and as chicken daddies, me and my husband are doing a lot better this time around. We've had no casualties. Woo! I hope the chickens gave you just as much energy as they gave me, because we're entering into the stage of anime and faces, which is about 8th grade, 7th grade, 2012, maybe even start of 9th grade as well. As you've already seen, we had some more Full Metal Alchemist. This time I think they were a bit better than my first attempt. Now we have some Naruto and more Full Metal Alchemist. I was really into Full Metal Alchemist apparently. A comeback of the hand in the exact same pose. Ooh, okay, now this is the first drawing I feel like I really ate. I was so proud of this. I remember vividly, this was in 9th grade now, and that was a homework assignment. Some more anime. We have Bleach, my favorite character, Soifan. I loved her Bankai. Inuyasha. Even some faces. Oh, Bankai. Now, I really thought that I was being super original with this one, but just a rip-off Tamara from Naruto. Some more cloth, and then we have a plant coming out of a ball. This reminds me most of my current artwork, actually. And more anime, of course, Soul Eater, a classic with Maki. And I really love that little witch in Soul Eater also. Ooh, now we got some really weird figures and forms and animals and shapes. This is what gets me really excited. I can see my artistic vision was starting to form all the way back in 2012. Oh, I'm actually proud of that one. That one is so cute. I like that. And of course, right into an Uggo. Let's skip it. Another person. into another anime. This is also Full Metal. I think this is Brotherhood. Correct me if I am wrong, please. It's been a while for me. And here's where we enter what I call a boring section because it is just homework assignments. As you can see, I had to draw a lot of people, faces, hands, studies with lights and shadows, and there's not much more after that. So that is the end of the second sketchbook. Here we go with sketchbook number 3, entering into my junior year and half of my senior year, I believe, sophomore, junior, senior, I don't know, all of them blur together, of high school. Starting off with this rose, actually no, I just got a set of soft pastels, so I was experimenting with them quite a bit at the beginning of this sketchbook. What I would do was, I got home from school, I would sit down at the dining room table, get my computer out, watch some One Piece actually, and then practice with these soft pastels while I was doing so. I actually really do not like drawing people, so I'm surprised of how much I was drawing people on my own other than my homework assignments. My homework assignments definitely made me feel like I didn't like drawing people. These are my sisters, and I did not do them justice. Okay, I'm gonna title this and give you a forewarning that the next phase of the sketchbook is called the I'm trying to find my art style phase. So you're gonna see a lot of very, like, oh my god, burn it. My eyes are burning, my eyes are burning. That's supposed to be from One Piece. That's my sister. Oh my god, my poor sister. I made her look like a demon straight from hell. And that's actually kind of good. I think I was following a YouTube tutorial, that's probably why. And then I thought I was doing such a creative job, some original character designs coming up. Oh, what a... hey. You see, I kind of didn't know if I was going to go for anime or realism, so they kind of all ended up with this strange in-between phase. And then I sort of focused more on realism because that is what I was asked to do by my teacher, and hence becomes the practicing of portraiture over and over. I hate it so much, and I think high school is the reason why. It just burned me out. Nowadays, I will do it, but it is not my favorite thing to do, and nor will I ever choose to do it if I don't have to. More practice and more practice. And yes, all these are supposed to be me. I really don't... Oh my god, I am so glad that is behind me. And more hands. The end. Sketchbook number 4 is the last sketchbook in my high school phase, so this would be my senior year, and we're going to go through this one pretty quickly because most of it is just going to be studies. I was working on my AP portfolio at the time, so I was practicing a lot of poses and things like that. I didn't have much time to do my own creative ideas, so we're not going to see much in here, but we're going to start with this strange woman and this glass full of water. I don't know, kind of basic. But here we go with the poses, lots of poses, practicing the outer envelope. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what this was supposed to be. More poses, more envelopes, and poses, and poses, and poses. Oh yeah, poses, hands, lips. My first sign of League of Legends, a moo-moo, my great obsession, oh my god. Okay, we got more hands and more poses, and don't look at that, oh my god, where did the chin go? That was supposed to be me, I believe. And some more poses and practices. Okay, so that is the end of my last sketchbook. So high school phase is over, and we're ready to start the phase I am more proud of, which is the college phase. And we're ready to begin the next phase, which is my college era. And this is where I really started to have fun with the sketchbook. I realized that I don't have to use a sketchbook like a traditional sketchbook. I could use it in a more fun way that I enjoy, which is scrapbooking. So what I would do is I would draw a doodle whenever I was in class on my margins of papers or random notebooks, and then I would just cut them out and paste them all together into my sketchbook. So it becomes a scrapbook, a collection of my work. Here we've got a doodle of a frog. This frog is definitely maybe creepy, maybe cute. Can't really tell. You let me know. So as we go through my sketchbook and we look at my doodles, you're going to notice repetition of quite a few imagery. And that's because I kind of take my sketches as an opportunity to practice things that I want to include in my pieces. So it's kind of like you're building up a visual vocabulary of a bunch of things that are important to you as an artist. Here's some repetition of that snake imagery again. I think this is the first sort of silly worm character that I ever drew. So this actually is a pattern that I later used on a piece of ceramics that I created. So I was trying to create my own Pokemon evolution. So up here on the top of this shelf, we've got the first evolved form of this electric ghost Pokemon. And then it transforms into this one right here. And then this final evolution is right up here in the front. Never finished it. This sketch is one where I'm experimenting with materials that I haven't used before. So this is a combination of oil pastel, gouache, and some gel pens. There's another drawing that I never finished. If you're working on something and you just lose motivation, then there's no reason that you need to finish it. You can always move on to the next piece. And if you ever get motivation to work on that piece, then you can go back and finish it. Cool sun at the top. Sort of makes me think of Soul Eater. We've got a very random looking cow. I actually really like this drawing. My favorite part of this drawing is definitely this little crocodile right here in the front. Oh, and this one is exciting. So this here is actually my first try to make my own paper. So what I did was I put a bunch of paper into a blender, and then I mixed in some water, and then you lay all of the paper out on a screen to dry, and you sort of got to press it down so it gets matted. So these drawings are actually based off of some miniature sculptures I made back in college. This one is very sad because it has been bitten.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
We've got one of those twisty worms again. The cute little creature here kind of reminds me of the plant on top of the Among Us character. This was a challenge I did where I had to draw using my non-dominant hand, and it was very hard, and you can see that my lines were very shaky. I like how it looks. This is actually based off of a little water bottle that I have. Here we've got some ideas for some paintings, it looks like. So I actually remember that this drawing was based off of a dream that I had. So I was sitting in a sunken ship in the bottom of the ocean, and I was sort of in the corner of this room. And I remember looking up, and very vividly, there was this ragged tooth shark and just sort of swam slowly over me. It was very magical. So that is what I did this drawing based off of. The fun thing is that if I look at the back of some of these pieces of paper, I am sure I will find a bunch of notes and paperwork from my classes during college. Because I just rip these right out and paste them on. So I was sketching a lot of butterflies like this because I was working on a painting at the time. Looks like I drew the same shark twice. These was also when I was practicing drawing sharks for a painting that I made when I was, I think, a junior in college. I still have not made a crocodile painting yet. I really want to though. This one says, on the 4th of July I met a man, Pierre. And this was after I was listening to a song by Rin Weaver called Pierre. Oh, this is a fun one. So this was a vacation I took in the summer of 2019. It was very hot. It's like on a bus tour in Mexico City. So these little creatures are ones that I ended up painting digitally. Here we've got that crocodile face again. So this is actually based off of one of my favorite movies called Black Water. So I actually have a collection of Predator movies. So not like Predator vs. Alien, that sci-fi franchise, but like large predators that are hunting people or large predators in general. So I've got Black Water, Anaconda, Open Water, Jaws, all of those movies. They're very cheesy most of the time, but I still think they're super cool. This crocodile is everywhere. This one's cute. I think I'm trying to tell myself something that I need to paint this. And with that, we reached the end of my first sketchbook scrapbook combo. And I think we need a break from another sketchbook, so let's instead go into my mini portfolio from college. This is where I would put all of my smaller drawings that I liked so much I either would rip them out or I would start with the paper on a drawing board in the first place. You might recognize this one from my profile picture. These ones are a lot more detailed. I spend a lot more effort rendering the different shapes and forms. This was all from a specific class called Drawing and Illusionism. I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art, and that's where I took this class. And it was all about learning how to draw things realistically as possible. Don't look this, I have to censor this. Now we enter into the color section where I was trying to do some optical illusion work with random materials, whatever I had on hand. This one on the right is actually made with crayon. This one on the right is also made with crayon. Enough of this though, let's get back into the next sketchbook. And that leads into sketchbook number 6. And this sketchbook is one from COVID 2021 to 2022. At this time, I was teaching online art to middle school. So a lot of the things you see are going to be ideas and sketches that were related to my classroom projects and what I was teaching my students. So we've got lots of portrait practice here from when we did our portraiture unit. You can see that I've come a long way since I was practicing in my middle school sketchbooks when it comes to people specifically. One thing I love to do is get inspiration from my students. So this drawing here on the left was actually inspired by one of my students' drawings, and then I showed them mine. It made them really happy. Remember, this was during COVID, so I would often have my sketchbook open while I was teaching my class during our independent work time and our downtime, and I would just draw random colorful things or doodle little images. So this sketchbook is the most doodle-like out of all of the sketchbooks I have. I'm kind of obsessed with this bear pacifier baby thing. So this was actually the sketch I made for a piece of art that I posted on YouTube Shorts, so you can go check that out. Oh, surprise, my husband right there on the right.
More doodles. And doodles. And doodles. And doodles.
So as you can see by now, this sketchbook is primarily a bunch of random doodles, but I really liked this one because putting them together and collaging them on the page made it feel like every page in itself was an art piece. Each collage, each scrapbook page felt like I was doing something intentional. So I was combining things that maybe matched color schemes or the imagery would look good together, and sometimes I would also keep in mind the page across from it. So having a double page spread, thinking about what would look good in this double page spread. This one is one of my favorites. These two are painting ideas I actually drew back in college. I had found them later date and put them in here. I really like these smiley faces here on the right side, kind of creepy but cute at the same time. And that is the end of sketchbook number 6. Lots of empty pages. Maybe I'll draw something in there in the future, rip them out, and put them in my next sketchbook. And here we've got my last sketchbook, number 7. This sketchbook is my current sketchbook, and it includes mostly sketchbook prompts that I do with my students in high school. You're going to notice a lot of color, a lot of pen, ink, and that similar dark but cute imagery that I am tending to do, whether I try to or not. you can kind of guess what the sketchbook prompts were based on the pages, right? Like these ones were logos, the previous ones were a vegetable using monochromatic color scheme. I really like these two pen drawings here. They're very strange but creative. The left-hand side actually shows some ideas I have for large paintings. I hope to get those done and be able to show all of you guys what they are. So this book might not be new for some of you because I did post this sketchbook on the YouTube Shorts page. So definitely check out those YouTube Shorts to see them in a faster format. So here's one of my favorite projects I did with my students because it was simple, fun, and the results are really interesting. These are some printmakings here. What you do is you draw with Crayola marker, then you spray an index card, you get it really wet, you place the index card on top of the Crayola marker drawing, and then you just peel it off, and then you have a print that is sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes in between, but the results are very cool. Really like this pinecone creature on the right, though I'm not sure what exactly it was. Here we got another Pokemon. This is a Cacnea on the left. And I was born in the year of the ox, which is why I drew the ox. I like this doodle on the right. We have a thumbprint painting on the right hand side here. Again, these are mainly sketchbook prompts, so they all have a very specific prompt. And I just have a lot of fun drawing them alongside my students. Gives me inspiration to see them work and just makes me want to make my own. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. You just went through all of my years in the life of being an artist. I can't wait to keep making more, and I plan on actually making my sketchbooks, scrapbooks even faster in the future because I'll be working more on this YouTube channel, which will give me a reason to make a lot more art. If you like what you saw, please make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more. I appreciate it. Bye.